This week on Gotta Go, I am joining live from Bali.
I'm feeling super sad about my super.
I got a night nurse for my husband.
I'm now getting free power, but there is a catch.
I've got a financial checklist that we need to be ticking off.
All this on Gotta Go.
Gotta go, gotta go. Hey, BB.
Hi, Mole. Zooming you in from Bali.
I'm so exotic right now. I can't help it. Sorry.
You've packed up your life in Australia. What have you done since?
I have been over in WA and I had to give some talks out on an iron ore mine site. Wowza, that's a whole new world out there. And it was so funny, B. I flew to WA, had a night there. We got a night nurse in to look after the little baby because it was the first time I've ever been away from Amali and I was freaking out. And so we had this lovely night nanny come and of course she slept like a baby. So I flew out and it is just like a whole new world when you go out there. It's like desert. It looks like a scene from June. It's crazy. And this gorgeous like Zimbabwean girl picked me up and we went literally straight to get breathalyzed, and then I walked into this room full of miners and it was literally 98% male miners. And I was
a little different to your usual clientele.
I was like, right, not my usual audience. So I was like, okay. And look, it went well. And then I had another talk the next morning and I made some adjustments to the slides, but it went really well. But I think what I always find interesting in these talks is no matter the audience, we just have not learned financial literacy. So there would be like literally 3 people. I do like this hot mess financial stress test and there'd literally be 2 to 3 who've done everything. And we're talking like, you've got a will, you've done your insurances, you've got money sitting there in case of an emergency. Yeah, it was great. But I have to say my highlight was eating in the mess because it looked like something from a cruise ship, Bryony. Oh my God, I walked in.
Like, let me in. Love
I know,
cruise.
and I was late as well because I had given this talk. There was like all these different sections. There was this big dessert area. And then the next morning breakfast was amazing. And again, like just literally they try and keep them happy. I had the most beautiful lamb chop of my life out there. Who would have thought?
And you sent me a photo of you with the like most enormous truck I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my God. So the people out there were delightful. And well, the ones I was dealing with were delightful. And he's like, would you like to see some trucks? And I was like, yeah, I want to see some trucks. We are talking trucks the size of buildings. Like they were huge. And I didn't even know what iron ore was. I was on the phone to Bri on my way out. And I was like, B, hey, what's iron ore used
I'm
for?
like, have you heard of Google? You should do that before you lose reception.
I couldn't get reception. And just like steel, I'm like, that steel's pretty important. All the iron ore that comes out, it gets put on these trains and gets shipped straight to the port. And then that goes out to like mainly South Korea and one other country, China.
Back to the night nurse. So you got a night nurse for baby.
And B, what a night nurse is it's like a nurse or a midwife who actually comes to your house or hotel and they will sit with the baby and help get them to sleep, help feed them, help soothe them. And it actually meant that my partner can actually go out, grab some dinner, come back, get a good night's sleep. But because she was so good last time, what I'm going to do this next time is only have her for a couple of hours just to make sure everything's okay.
Does Vinny know how lucky he is, by the way? He's like, got a night to look after the baby and you're like, and I'm paying someone to do your job so you can relax.
I know, because Mum the next day was like, how did it go, Vinny? And he's like, oh, good, she only woke up twice. Never mentioned the night nurse.
Oh, yeah, like, forgot that there was a full-time other person doing it. Yeah, good one, Vinny.
Wasn't him.
He's like, oh, it was amazing. And also, like, I think sometimes it's just really great seeing other people in action, right, that are professionals.
Well, it was really helpful because she's like, okay, I don't think she's getting enough food at night, and that's why she keeps waking up, feeding. And also she needs to do this and this. And so it was just helpful to actually go, are we parenting right?
Yeah. Tell us all the things.
Yeah,
they're worth their weight in gold, a good night nurse by the sounds. All right, well done, Mol. Very well organised. But I got a very interesting text that I really need to talk about with you during the week from you, where you were like, so we've been doing the app, doing the sleep schedule, and the results have been, and the word you used was amazing. So tell me everything.
I finally was like, I think she'd woken me up like 8 times in the night, and I was like, what is going on? So I was like, Vinny, we need to follow this friggin' schedule. I need something. And so we did it. And we were, number one, surprised how easily she went down when she was meant to.
Yeah.
She had like a 2-hour nap during the day. And then
Life-changing.
slept like a baby. We followed that for the next few nights. But then we've been traveling and like it's just been a bit tricky when you're like on a flight and she's meant to be sleeping.
And you're in different time zones. Yeah. But yeah, and so how is traveling with the baby going?
No, it's good. Like I have to say, like we've been in Nusa Lembongan, which is so stunning. We're staying at this beautiful resort. It's a vegan resort, which like if I could have vegan food like this every day, I would be vegan.
It looks so amazing. Like our family WhatsApp right now is just spam of like the most ridiculous scenic locations.
But we got a cot for her everywhere we have been, and not one night has she slept in a cot. She's like, I'd like to be in bed next to mummy and daddy.
She's like, excuse me, this is a luxe resort. I want to try the beds.
This is my holiday and I'm not sleeping in that cot. And they do it beautifully up with mosquito nets and everything. And I'm really glad we didn't decide to bring a cot with us because we would have been lugging it around, yet another thing to lug around. And then we would have been like, she just wants to be in the bed with us.
Cute. I love it.
But the whole time we were at our lovely resort, you could look out and there was this floating pontoon. It's like a floating bar and they're just playing beats. People are jumping off like this little jump thing, having the best time. And I'm just like, Vinny, I want to go onto that pontoon. So this is the best thing about going on holidays with your parents, full-time, well, not full-time babysitters, but part-time babysitters. That's where my little girl is right now. And so they took her for the afternoon and we just went on the pontoon.
Oh my God, Molly.
I was drinking coconut mojitos. Oh my God. Life was good.
Life was good. Just a bit of news from back home that you might have missed, Mol. There's this seal at the moment called Neil the Seal in Tasmania, and he's become a bit of a giant celebrity and he's just trashing the joint. So that was giving me a little bit of joy this week, little Neil the Seal. And I like that everyone's just like working around him, you know, because what are you going to do with like 1,000-kilogram seal?
In some other good news I saw today, so Jeff Bezos, so they've got a foundation and they are donating $100 million to create more greener cities in America. When billionaires give $100 million, that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't it? I know. It's like, because there was obviously that, you know, good news story this week of Miranda Kerr and her billionaire husband. They wiped the medical debt of like, it was like equivalent of like 800 million Australian dollars. And it was like 260,000 people, like their bills just gone, wiped. And so on the one hand, I'm like, great, how lovely, what a lovely thing to do. But on the other hand, I'm like, and I don't want to be the bearer of like, oh, good news turned into a bad news story. But like, seriously, the American healthcare system's a whole just basket case, obviously.
It's effed.
Yeah, it's an absolute mess. But like, should we be relying on the goodness of billionaires to like have basic, you know, universal healthcare and rights? Like,
yeah.
There's a part of me that's just like, let's just tax billionaires and trillionaires. Like, we shouldn't have trillionaires, you know? And like, can't fault them for doing it. It's wonderful. I just have a issue with a bigger system that we have to rely on like the kindness of billionaires when we should just tax them. As you'll be well aware, a lot of hitting in my household at the moment. You know, a toddler and two toddlers effectively, but a 2.5-year-old and 1 year-and-a-half-year-old.
Yeah, is Charlie still hitting Artie with trucks, going squish,
Yeah,
squish?
he's hitting them with everything. So I've removed any sharp object from the house, any toy that can be turned into a weapon. They've all been boxed up. They're just all going away for now. The walker, like the little walkers that they like, because you can ram your brother with those. The little trucks can become, you know, like weapons, like anything that's like got a remotely sharp edge, it's gone from my house. I've banished it for now. But I was like, I'm at a point where I just need a bit more professional help and guidance. So we have this amazing early childhood educator that lives up the road, 30 years Montessori teacher. And she came over the other day and so generous, like just sat and gave me like 30 minutes of guidance and advice. And we talked through all the scenarios and she gave me some really good advice. So she was like, when the eldest is hitting baby or goes to hit him, clock him or whatever, she said, don't look at the one doing the hitting. Don't even talk to them. Because, you know, as the parent, you sort of want to jump in there, defend the baby, of course, and then be like, say sorry and apologise and da-da-da. She's like, all white noise. You're giving him everything he wants, all the attention. She's like, much better strategy. Don't talk to him. Pick up the baby, keep the baby safe. And then she was like, and then almost like in slow motion, go in and get the toy or whatever was the object of the fight and just take it away and go put it up somewhere high and out of reach. So, and he might carry on and be upset and scream and have a tantrum, but she's like, he's got to get the message that if you do this, you're not going to get the thing and you're not going to get any attention from it either. And it was just like, once again, such a reminder to me of like just the brilliance of early childhood educators and how much knowledge they have and, you know.
Didn't you say something interesting about like kids in school at the moment and just like how their behaviour is changing?
Oh, yeah, she was just saying, and I hear this across the board from basically every teacher I know or early childhood educator. They just say the last 5 to 10 years things have changed so dramatically, like just children's behaviour, you know, and they put it down to, I suppose, like, you know, it's not bad parenting. I don't want to say bad parenting because people are doing the best that they can do with the knowledge they have, but maybe it's like parenting in isolation without other generations around, not knowing what the right thing to do is. And so just like there was me, right, thinking I'm doing the right thing, but I'm doing the wrong thing. And it wasn't until I sought out some expert guidance that I, you know, had a completely 360-degree different strategy.
Gosh, it's wild, isn't it? Like, and what I find interesting, and I don't know, I'm like, is it phones? Is it social media? Are
they also say like screen time's a big part of it, bad diet, you know, processed food, all these things.
I am literally looking out at some of the most stunning views I've ever seen in my life in Bali. I'm going to beautiful hotels, be really rubbing it in here. But what I'm noticing is we're all on our phone. Everyone is addicted to their phone.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're here looking at the most stunning view, and I was the only one not on my phone.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is
I literally want, like,
but
next
I'm
family
like,
holiday,
this is
it's
wild.
controversial, but I want to buy a box with a lock on it, and everyone's phone has to go in the box when we're doing family activities. You can get them out between, like, let's have an agreed time frame that everyone can get it out between, you know, 7 and 7:30 for half an hour.
But
like,
we're not saying we're perfect either. We're definitely like on there too.
But
if
I am very conscious when we're
doing.
doing family time, when we're sitting at the table, and it just drives me insane. And like, you know, there's all this talk about like young people on phones. I'm sorry, but it's the older people are just as bad. Like, if not
where
worse.
I am, it's a real mix of generations and everyone's
on their phone. Yeah.
That's really interesting about the hitting with Charlie and little Artie. And so you give the kid no attention who's doing the wrong thing.
Because also what I realize is Charlie got to the point where he's like, if I hit him, Mum will pick baby up and baby will be gone and I can keep doing the thing that I wanted to do. To the point where he said to me the other day, pick up Artie, like pick him up. Like, get him out of the way. And I was like, so this is now I've got to remove everything and I'm not going to give you any
take him down.
He's just like,
Because I was actually watching a early childhood educator, because Amali's getting to that age where, and they said it doesn't matter how old they are, you can start from as young as they do this, but when they hit your face, they don't know the difference between good attention and bad attention. All they know is attention. So they're like, you keep your face super straight. They said it's really hard to do and just been clobbered by your baby. And you just go gentle touch and then you just show them how you want them to touch you. And then that's what you do, but you don't give them any reaction.
It is actually quite hard to stay neutral when you've been slapped in the face unexpectedly.
And they look at you and they're like,
and they're waiting for your reaction. It is a really good parenting thing to know, isn't it? Like, good attention or bad attention, it's all attention. And also what you tolerate from, I remember Charlie was like 8 months old and he was like pulling my glasses off and, you know, and I remember Mum just saying to me, Bryony, like, disciplining starts now, you know? Like, you don't just one day, when he's 4, I'll start telling him not to do that, you know, and you actually can put boundaries in with a baby. They get it. They get everything, you know?
They're clever little suckers.
Now, if you're listening, just a reminder that we do have a YouTube channel. So if you want to see Molly's lovely Balinese villa she's staying in right now, come along, find us out on Gotta Go Pod on YouTube. We'd love to see you there. Something that got me really riled up a few weeks ago was like Pauline Hanson, obviously, she did her press club address. But within that, there's something that really upset me that she said. I brought my 4 kids up and I didn't have a degree. Like, why do people that looking after kids need degrees? It was a real moment where I thought, wow, this woman really doesn't get it, you know? Clearly she has no respect for the profession, but has done no reading, has no background research. Like, we know that 0 to 5 is the most critical in a child's life for their brain development. And we know we're already within a system where, kids are getting abused in, early childhood centres. Like there are a lot of issues already with a system that's highly regulated with lots of professionals in it. And just to have someone there advocating for like, oh, yeah, why do educators need an education? Like, yeah, why can't we just shove them in a barn with like, I don't know, an iPad and just, pick them up at the end of the day? Like I just thought,
and it's
wow.
so
like,
worrying
scary.
that she literally thinks that's like she literally believes that. Like they don't need to be educated.
Literally believes that. And then not only that, it's also said that why do women need to be paid if they're on like maternity leave? They're not working. I'm like, for starters, it's hardcore work actually. And also, did you forget that fact? Like just from an economic perspective, I'm like, that is nuts. Like we know we need women to have children and to do so, as you always say at Ladies Finance Club, you're taking $1 million hit to your income, your super, your everything.
Oh, 2 million with kids. It's $1 million without kids,
Oh,
2 million with kids.
Great. All right. Well, I'm about 4 million behind at this point. But, like just from a basic, if nothing else, just from a basic economic setting, she's just completely missing the point.
Oh, it is wild and very scary that people with those beliefs are that far up in politics.
Well, Mol, I do have one other bit of good news, 2 bits actually. One was that the largest ever renewable energy project in America officially went live this week. It's a giant wind turbine. And the reason, and it's going to power like millions of homes and millions of businesses. And the reason I just wanted to share that was because I know like, it can feel like we're going backwards on a lot of things, particularly when it comes to America right now. But even in a country like America, where you've got an administration that's trying to roll back everything they can on climate and drill, baby, drill, as we know, Trump likes to say, there's still some good, giant, large-scale renewable projects coming to town.
Love that Trump wasn't able to shut that one down. Great news.
Oh, and Mol, one that you'll be interested in is, I've been banging on for a little while about how we're all going to get 3 hours of free power.
Yeah.
So it's come into effect. It came in on the 1st of July, but there's actually a bit of a catch because I was like, oh, cool. When does my free power start? Like my energy provider hasn't told me anything about it. You actually have to call up your energy provider and ask to go on it.
What?
Yeah. So a few things.
That's like a TNC that would have been helpful.
Yeah, I was just like, cool, give me my free power. But I looked it up and they're like, no, you actually have to call up. I spent an hour on the phone, oh my good Lord, waiting on hold because everyone was calling up to get it. But you have to actually ask to opt into the solar sharer offer.
Okay.
And then you have to interrogate it because if you're not someone who can genuinely switch your power to that middle of the day window, 11 till 2, then it's actually not worth it. And I should add, this is only if you live in Southeast Queensland, New South Wales or South Australia that you can access this. Okay. Victoria's bringing in a scheme. Other states may follow suit. But you actually, so you've got to call them up and then you've got to have a smart meter. But if you can't, shift to that middle of the day, it actually might cost you more money because they jack up the prices at other times. They jack up your daily rate. We now, though, for us, it's amazing because we have a battery and we have an EV. So if nothing else, if we just fully charge our battery in the middle of the day when our solar doesn't fully do the job, then we've got free power for the rest of the 24 hours. So it's incredible.
B, happy new financial year. I've got a little bit of we'll call it a checklist for the new financial year that people can do. Number 1 is you've got at least $1,000 saved because the last stats show that about 45% of Australians don't. So we want to have that emergency fund, $1,000 in a high-interest fee-free account.
Okay,
Number
great.
2, you've got no credit card debt because 50% of Aussies do. Isn't that crazy?
That's high.
Yeah,
I did not realise.
And the average interest rate on a credit card, do you want to guess how much it is?
Oh, it's a lot. It's like 10%, I want to say.
19. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And another check, you're investing in the share market because only 42% of Aussie women do. This starts from the ASX, but I reckon it's actually a bit lower than that from my experience.
That's interesting, 42%. So nearly half of women are doing it. But we want it much higher, obviously, but that's actually higher than I would have thought.
ASX, I assume they were surveying a certain type of person. because from my experience of talking to Aussie women, it's not 42%. It'd probably be more like 25%.
Yeah, interesting.
Okay, number 4, you have no car payment. So the average new car payment is $848 per month. And you have a will. Now, this is where it gets most of people because 50% of Aussies do not have a will. Again, I think it's higher than 50% because most people I speak to don't have a will.
And Byron just went and bought one like from the post office the other day. Is that good enough? Can I just use that?
No, because you've got to be so careful with the wording because if you're going to do that, you still need like a lawyer to look over it because they're just way too easily contested in like a court of law. The kind of theory with wills is you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. So, this is a really important document and it's worth investing. The people we mainly use at Ladies Finance Club, they charge around $1,200 to $1,500.
Just to play devil's advocate for a minute, that's not like lawyers being like, oh no, you should pay us money to do it. Like you need to legitimately do it because
look, you can do one of the online
your post office little one's going to be like,
you can do online ones as like Will Safe and Willed, but again, like they're not like when you normally speak to a family lawyer, they're not even worth like the paper they're written on kind of thing. But I still think it's better than having nothing. I still think the post office will is still better than zero will.
Okay, well, I'm going to commit before the end of the year, financial year, to get our post office one at least done. But then I should probably look to do something a bit more watertight.
I know, but it's really like when you're thinking about doing a will as well, it's really quite confronting because they're like, if you die, who do you want? Who you want your kids to be brought up by? And you're like, oh my God, what? And then they're like, and where do you want this to go? And you're just like, oh my God, this is too intense. But actually doing a will is a really selfless thing to do because if anything was to happen to you, it means that your family isn't left with a shit show afterwards.
Yeah. Do you know what? Like the fact that you just said like what happens to your children alone is enough reason for me to go, holy shite, I need to get a will because I don't want someone else deciding.
No. And the thing is, I always put it in, same with prenups as well, or binding financial agreements as we call them in Australia. Look, the government's going to decide if we don't, so we may as well. That's kind of the angle you can take with it.
Yeah. So if you don't have a will, what, like your assets just go to the state and they'll figure it out for you?
Yeah, but also anyone can lay claim on that. So if you've had an ex-boyfriend from the past, they can lay stake on it. If you've got a weird uncle or
lay
aunt,
stake on it. That was
they can lay stake on it. Sorry, like they can claim part of it. What that also means for your family is they're going to have to pay legal fees, and that's where they get you. It's actually the legal fees to then fight them in court.
Wow. Okay.
And then just on one more note for your financial admin B, because I don't know if you've done this, but your super does not make up part of your estate. So unless you've specifically said in your will, and I also want my super to go to blah, 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 it's definitely not included in your, yeah, so it's crazy. So you've got to fill out a binding nomination or a non-binding nomination. And that actually goes, if anything's to happen to me, I want my super to go to, so you can nominate your dependents. But this is where it's interesting. You've got kids, you've got dependents. But if you didn't have kids, which a lot of our LLC ladies, they're single women, they don't have kids, you can't nominate your parents or your sister or your brother.
Oh, just hang on a sec, because you and Rihanna, my sisters, you are my nominated people in my super fund at the moment. Like,
no,
like,
it wouldn't be valid because you have to be financially dependent on the person. So it would be your kids, but you'd just make it would automatically normally go to your dependents, but you've got to write in your dependents just so, again, you don't have any issues. And again, there's been horrendous cases where people have gotten access to people's super who should not have got it, like ex-partners.
Yeah, I heard a crazy story of just some random like kid of an ex-wife, like not even an ex-wife, an ex-girlfriend that someone had dated for like 2 minutes. Their daughter just popped out of nowhere and was there on the deathbed and just took it, like got everything.
This is why you need to have your will, your estate plan, and then your, power of attorneys sorted as well. But they'll do that when you do your estate.
Also this year in general, I'm going to make a financial goal for this new financial year just to get my super sorted, because I have to admit, we talked about our super last week, right? And I'm the big sister. I've always just been like a bit ahead and a bit in front, because I'm 2 years older than you, and that's just what it's been. And I had a moment where I felt really, I'm going to just say, embarrassed and a bit upset and a bit sad, like when we were talking about our super. And you've got shitloads more than me now. I have worked for myself for
I know.
many, many years.
Yeah.
I've run my own business. I have not paid myself super. Like, it was a bit of a shock to me when we shared like what's in both of our supers, and you've got 3 times more than me now. But the crazy thing is you had nothing a couple of years ago, right? When you came back from London. So you've done that all yourself.
You've got plenty of time to catch up, but the most important thing is you just start catching up and you're putting money aside. And what I do a couple of things. I pay myself, every time I pay myself super. And then I actually went back this year and topped up previous supers, because you can actually go back, and if you haven't topped up for the last 5 years. So I had like $16,000 left I hadn't used in my last, from like 5 years ago, because you can, if that's confusing, I can explain it again. But like, if you think of your super thresholds as different buckets and you've only used some of the bucket, you can go back up and top up the bucket.
Top them up, But
once that year's gone, it's gone. So I had like $16,000, and once that year's gone, I can't go back and top it up. It doesn't move on to the next year. So then I could add in extra, I only get taxed at that 15%, which brings my entire tax down again.
And I think too, for me, it's just about saying, okay, well, I've been out of the workforce for a few years. I was out of the workforce with cancer, then I worked part-time, and then I've just worked for myself, and I've just not prioritized super. I've just been like, I prefer to have the cash, and like, you know, and the flip side is, you know, we bought a house. I had my money for my house deposit. I've done, you know, I've got some shares. I've done other things. But it was just a really good wake-up moment for me to be like, okay, it's something to focus on now for the next few years in terms of how
it will
can
only
I
take you a few years to
that.
catch up as well. Like I always say to people, like I caught up when I moved back from London. I had 20,000, and now I've got over 200 plus in my super. So that was only in 7-8 years. So there's definitely a way that you can catch up.
Yeah. Well done you as well. I'm really proud of you.
Thanks. Who would have thought back in the day? Definitely not me.
Yeah, it's great.
The girl
who
used to knock on your door and ask for money.
Yeah, I know. What's got to go this week?
I think what's got to go is like shitty Australian rude tourists. The Balinese are literally the most beautiful, divine, kind people. And when you hear some of the ways people speak to them, it just makes you cringe to be an Australian.
Yeah.
So that for me has got to go. Like, get out. They shouldn't be allowed to leave the country if they're going to be rude.
Oh, on that, I saw this week Bali's introduced new laws that for influencers that they have to get, if you're getting paid or you're getting freebies while you're in Bali, you actually have to get a working visa. And if you don't, you get deported, fined. Yeah, I think it's good too, because, you know, the amount of times there's like some influencer with the boobs out on a sacred, you know, like shrine or something. And they're like, we've had a gutful.
I would like it noted that I'm not working on this trip. I'm just working for myself, not for them.
I am paying my way.
I'm paying my way.
Well, my gotta go this week, Mol, is being on hold and just hold music. Like, I kid you not, I was on hold for 50 minutes the other day trying to get on this bloody solar offer. And I was like, there is tech for this now. There's a callback service. And it literally made me go, I'm probably going to change provider just because I don't want to sit on the phone for 55 minutes again.
Also, do you know what they should do? Like, put some stand-up comedy on the line. Make it fun.
Yeah. It's also always, why is it always really bad music?
Podcast.
And it sounds really grainy, and you're just like, come on. Yeah, give me a podcast.
Put a crime podcast on. Then I'll be like, no, pick up. I want to know who did it.
Stop. Sorry, can you just give me another 5 minutes on hold? I've got to finish the story.
2 more minutes.
Genius, Mol.
Thanks.
There's a product in that.
There is. Don't know if there's money in it, but there's a product in there. Next time we jump on, I think I'll be jumping on from Perth.
So, you're coming back to Perth. Hang on, curveball.
Back to Perth and over to Thailand.